Ma, there's a letter from your parents.
I don't have any family in the East. Someone is trying to scam me. Discard future messages.
The village of Nnewi Agu in Anambra State was beautiful in the way poor places often are. Red earth roads, mango trees heavy with fruit, children laughing in the rain. Amaka Okafor was the brightest student the village primary school had produced in 20 years. Her father, Emmanuel, sold his only piece of land, 1 acre his own father had left him, to pay her jam fees, her hostel, her textbooks, her everything. "You are my investment," he told her the day she boarded the bus to Lagos. "Not for my sake, for yours." Amaka hugged him hard that morning. She did not know it would be the last genuine hug she would ever give him. Lagos swallowed Amaka and spat out Amanda. It happened gradually. First, the accent softened and rounded. Then, the name on her work email. Then, the carefully constructed biography. Grew up in Ikoyi, father in oil and gas, privately educated. She was brilliant enough that nobody questioned it. She rose fast in the hospitality industry. Events manager, then director, then her own company. When she met Richard at a Lagos business conference, she was fully Amanda. Polished, polite, completely invented. "You are extraordinary," Richard told her on their third date. "So grounded for someone who grew up with so much." Amaka smiled beautifully and said nothing. Their wedding was in the Seychelles. 50 guests, all carefully selected. Not one person from Nnewi Agu received an invitation. Mama Amaka heard about the wedding from a neighbor who saw photos on Facebook. She sat in her kitchen for a long time, holding her wrapper to her face. Papa Emmanuel said only, "She is alive. That is enough for today." But it was not enough. It was never enough. For 3 years, Amaka's parents called. She blocked the first number. They borrowed a neighbor's phone. She blocked that too. Her father wrote a letter. She recognized the handwriting and threw it away unopened. Her cousin Emeka tracked down her office address and sent a message through her assistant. "Your mother is sick. Please call home." Amaka told her assistant, "I have no family in the East. Someone is trying to scam me. Please discard future messages." She said it without blinking. Mama Amaka's malaria turned to something deeper. Grief had settled into her bones. Papa Emmanuel watched his wife fade and made a decision. He packed one small bag, borrowed transport fare from their church, traveled 14 hours from Nnewi to Lagos on a night bus, arriving at dawn, asking strangers for directions to the Lekki estate he had found on a church member's smartphone. He wore his best traditional tunic, the one he kept for funerals and Christmas. He did not tell anyone he was going. He simply went. The estate was enormous. High walls, security cameras, manicured hedges visible above the fence. Papa Emmanuel pressed the intercom. Static. Then a voice. Young, professional. "Good morning. Who are you here to see?" "I am here to see my daughter, Amaka Okafor. She lives here. She may be called Amanda now." A long pause. The camera above the gate rotated toward him. Inside the mansion, Amaka stared at the CCTV monitor. Her father's face, older now, thinner, filled the screen. Her hand moved to the intercom button, and something in her went completely, deliberately cold. "I don't know any Amaka. You have the wrong address. Security, remove this man." The guard hesitated. Papa Emmanuel raised his hand gently. "I carried you on this back when you had no shoes. I sold my land so you could fly. I am not begging you." He paused. "I am only greeting you." The intercom clicked off. Papa Emmanuel stood for one long moment before the great iron gate. Then he straightened his tunic, turned, and walked away with the dignity of a man who had already made peace with what his eyes had seen. "My Chi has seen everything," he whispered to himself. "That is enough." What Amaka did not know was that Richard had come home early that morning. He had watched everything on the second CCTV monitor in his study. The old man at the gate, the intercom exchange, his wife's cold face. He said nothing at breakfast. He said nothing at lunch. At dinner, he placed his phone on the table. On the screen was a photo, pulled from an old Nigerian newspaper, a 2009 graduation ceremony. Okafor Amaka, first class, University of Lagos, sponsored by her father, Emmanuel Okafor of Nnewi Agu, Anambra State. "Who is this?" Richard asked quietly. Amaka's fork stopped moving. It took 3 weeks for everything to collapse. Richard hired an investigator, not out of cruelty, but out of grief. He had loved Amanda. He needed to understand who he had actually married. The investigator found everything: the land sale, the letters, the blocked numbers, Mama Amaka in the village, sick and heartbroken. Richard traveled to Nnewi Agu himself. He sat with Papa Emmanuel in that small compound under a mango tree and listened for 4 hours. He wept twice. He did not hide it. When he returned to Lagos, he moved his things to a hotel. He left one note: "I would have loved your real story, Amaka. It was more beautiful than the one you invented." Amaka's company collapsed without Richard's network and backing. Her carefully built Lagos identity unraveled as the truth spread quietly through social circles. The woman who had everything sat in her emptying mansion and finally, for the first time in 11 years, called her mother's number. It rang twice. "Hello?" Mama Amaka's voice, weak, warm, unchanged. Amaka opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Just a sound, broken, childlike, from somewhere she had spent 11 years trying to bury. "Amaka, my daughter, is that you?" And Amaka, who survived Lagos, survived reinvention, survived the collapse of everything she built, finally, completely fell apart. She came home with nothing but a bag and borrowed transport fare, the same way her father had come to find her. The village was smaller than she remembered. The mango trees were taller. Papa Emmanuel was sitting outside when the Okada dropped her at the compound gate. He looked at her for a long moment, this daughter who had sent him away from her own gate like a stranger. Then he stood up slowly, walked to her, and held her the way he had held her the day she left for Lagos. He said nothing. He simply held her. And the village, which had heard everything, judged everything, whispered everything, watched in silence as the old man forgave what most of them could not. Mama Amaka recovered slowly once her daughter came home. The doctor said it was the medication. The village said it was something else entirely. Amaka spent 6 months in Nnewi Agu. She cooked, she fetched water. She sat with her mother through long, quiet afternoons and listened to stories she had been too ashamed to carry. One evening, her father told her, "The land I sold, I do not regret it. I regret that you thought you needed to hide where it came from." Amaka had no answer worthy of that. She simply took his hand and held it.